Hello and welcome to the show. I'm so glad you could join us today. Listen, we've got a great show planned for you. This is the Power of Now series. The whole year on Tammy, we're talking about the power of now, taking it now, doing it now. But this month is Black History Month. And so we have some amazing guests. We've got today's guest, Harvey, Elwood Jr., Miss Ann King, Dr. Nicholas Hill, Will Music as his name, and Sharona McFadden. So I just want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy, because after we come back, we've got a special treat for you. Welcome back. Well, I told you we have a special treat. I just love those because Willie Daniels, I have to give him his credit, the assistant producer, he put those together. And so I want to thank him for that. So I always have something special. And I didn't say her in the beginning in the introduction that she's going to be on the show. But Mrs. Angel Howell, is going to be with us. And Angel is called the Poetic Angel. And so she's going to be with us all month. All month, Angel's going to be with us and just present us with these beautiful poems. And so now, without further ado, Mrs. Angel Howell, Poetic Angel.
Thank you, Tammy. Orangeburg County pride. Under the white clouds and the beautiful blue skies, there's more to Orangeburg than what meets the eyes. It's rich in history and culture too. It's filled with people of character and talent, like me, like you. It has its woes like many other places. It has its challenges that it often faces. Each day we strive to replace the bad with the good, fighting continuously to improve our neighborhoods. We want more for our children, like everyone else. A community filled with love, happiness, good health, and yes, wealth. Utopia, you say? That could be true, but there are many working hard for this, for you. So though Orangeburg County has many more strides to make, there are lots of big and small things that make Orangeburg County great.
Oh, thank you, Angel. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Well, Angel, we look forward to seeing what you have for us next week. Okay, my darling?
Thank
Poetic
you.
Angel. Thank you.
You're
Bye.
welcome.
Love
Bye
you.
bye.
All right, we'll be right back. The Curry Insurance Agency has served the community for over 30 years with hundreds of trained representatives to assist you in selecting health plans. Curry Insurance Agency is the largest marketing insurance group in the state of South Carolina for Medicare Advantage and represents all major health carriers. Curry's motto is people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Call the Curry Agency today at 803-536-0889. The Cecil Williams South Carolina Civil Rights Museum is the Palmetto State's first and only museum. It honors a generation of people, black and white, throughout the state of South Carolina who deserve to be remembered for their unselfish commitments and sacrifices. Enjoy an immersive and entertaining virtual tour. For more information, visit www.cecilwilliams.com. Welcome back to the show. Well, listen, I hope you enjoyed the Honoring Black History as well as Poetic Angel. And so we're back with the show. And what I told you we have some spectacular, amazing guests. And so I want to first start out by bringing them in. So, first, we're going to bring Dr. Nicholas Hill, who is the Educational Ambassador for Pathway Career Training Center. Come on out, Dr. Nicholas.
Hey, Tammy,
Hey,
it's always good to be here.
it's always great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for taking time to be with us. And so, Dr. Nicholas Hill, I'm going to do something a little different. Instead of me introducing everyone, I'm going to have you do the introductions because we are talking about legacy and leadership. So, go after it. Have fun.
Oh, well, this is great. I wanted to tell everybody we have an excellent opportunity for you to come out and get true personal training. Part of the Pathway to Career Training Center, they have the Building a Legacy and Leadership that will be hosted this Saturday from 10 to 2 at the Orangeburg County Convention Center, Conference Center. So we want you to come out. Now, the people who are going to be here are dynamic. I want you to know this, they're dynamic. One of the speakers that is coming up is going to be Alvin King. He's not here tonight, but he is a retired sergeant, spent over 20 years in the military. He has wrote a book called How to Have a Purpose Fulfilled, A Guide to Life Well Lived. It's a wonderful book to help with your guidance. But the two speakers that are here today, I got to know them a little bit backstage, but I knew the first one for a while. He is electrifying. His voice is captivating, and you probably have heard him on the radio. This is Mr. Harvey Elwood Jr. He has dedicated his life to public service. And when you hear his voice, you're going to know what he has talked about and what he has done. He has the founder of New Perspective Media, 93.7 FM. You have heard the rest. You need to hear the best when you talk to Harvey Elwood Jr. Also, we have Miss Ann King Ferret. She is as awesome as it comes. She'll be talking about holistic wealth management and financial freedom. I mean, I wish you would know all of the times that she's giving service. She's giving counseling on how to get your budget right, how to get your financial freedom in order. You need to come out because these are dynamic speakers like no other.
That's right. Well, listen, Dr. Hill, you just might as well go on and finish up with the interviews because I tell you, you did a phenomenal job. Thank you so much. And Mr. Elwood and Miss Ann King, thank you for joining the show. How are you all doing?
Good.
Great.
Very good.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, I want to start with Miss King. I just want to ask you, and Harvey, this is the same question for you as well.
Okay.
How did you become connected with Pathway Career Training? Because you know the founder is watching, Cassandra
Okay.
Boswell, the co-founder, and Levon. Yes.
Okay.
I met Cassandra about 2 years ago. She came in by way of looking for some insurance with an organization that she was working with. And just the sound of her voice, I said, this is the sweetest person. And, you know, with my bubbly personality and her bubbly personality and the sweetest voice, we just connected. And, you know, I was sharing with her some of my visions, and she was like, Miss Ann, you just have to be a part of us. And how could you say no to Cassandra? You cannot. And she's just so full of life, and she's about, you know, helping everybody. And we share the same passion. And because we share the same passion, you know, I called it a privilege for her to, you know, invite me in. But like I said, she's warm, she's bubbly, and she's just full of just everything. And I'm just like, again, just excited to be a part of Pathway. I really am.
Yes, that's wonderful. Beautiful story because I can hear her saying it right now. She's probably laughing while we all are talking. Okay, so Mr. Harvey Elwood, how did you become connected?
Everything Mrs. King just said. That's encapsulated. Just visiting the library and visiting the community, and she sought me out. She spoke with me, and she captivated me, and she's pulled me in. And I'm glad to be a part of whatever she's trying to accomplish in this community.
That's right. And you know, Dr. Hill, educational ambassador.
That's
How
right.
did you get that? Now, you know, I know, but I want to hear you tell the story.
Let me say this is that everybody has the same story about Cassandra in her soft voice. I'm gonna tell you that soft voice will lure you in, and she does not take no for an answer. But that's what it comes down to when you're talking about a legacy and leadership, is that you got to understand that it's about serving others,
Right.
and it's about convincing those who may not be in the same circle to buy into your vision.
Right.
So when they approached me about serving in my capacity, because I'm tied to academics, institutes of higher education at Claflin University, I couldn't say no, because this is right down what we do on a day-to-day basis, is try to educate young African Americans and those who go to HBCUs on how to be successful in their careers. So that's kind of how I got connected.
Wow. You know, when we talk about this legacy and leadership series, it's so important because there's so many different things that are being taught. So many different subjects that you all are talking about. So, Ms. Ann, I want you to kind of tell us about what you will be teaching at the conference this Saturday.
I will be teaching young individuals to just pull everything together. It's a big challenge for some individuals to really visualize what is it to have a holistic financial future. And it's really not hard, because we all started out with the basics. And that's like, you know, when we all were kids, I don't know if you all remembered, we all started off with a little piggy bank, the little piggy bank, you know, that we used to put money in to save for, you know, whether it was ice cream or candy, cookie, or whatever. So we started out with the idea of saving, but somehow we kind of lost the way a little bit. So what I'll be teaching is teaching people how to come back to the very basics of saving, and you know, just pulling all their finances together, learning how not to just spend it on impulse, you know, or looking at, you know, our parents used to say, you know, don't worry about what the Joneses have because you don't know how they got it. So, and if everybody would just, you know, pay more attention to what their needs are, what their values are. And another thing that, you know, some of us may not always think about is even though you're young, we still now in this day and time have to think about our future. You know, what do we want to do when we retire? What type of job is going to get you to where you want to be? And, you know, there's a lot of statistics out there right now saying that most Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And, you know, the savings are dwindling. So I'll just be pointing out some things that individuals can do to just consciously think about you, think about your family, think about your future, and how do you want to live in peace later on? Because I'm about peace.
Exactly. All right. I like that. I like that. So,
Yes.
Mr. Harvey, you know, you're what we call that OG, the original. The original.
Okay.
And you know, you started the station, founded this station, African American man who started this radio station. And so I want you to kind of give us your perspective on and what you will be teaching at the conference.
Well, some of the concepts that I share are things that were shared to me. And a lot of it is about giving in order to receive. It's not a switch and bait. It's investing yourself in a community of people and letting them know that you're there to serve them. And then consequently, what happens is then they'll pour themselves into you. And then so you'll be on a reverse track. Whatever you've put out will come back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Sergio Valente jeans is an example that we can use. The jeans didn't exist. Jordache jeans, they didn't exist. It was an idea. but they drew the idea and they put billboards up everywhere and got people excited about the idea. And the money, so everybody, all the stores, Macy's and Gimbel's, and everything, they wanted to buy these jeans. All the buyers wanted the jeans because the public had a demand for it. But the jeans hadn't been created. Mm-hmm. But once the demand came, then the investors saw the opportunity for them to put money into the creation of the physical jeans. Mm-hmm. Those kind of examples, Oprah Winfrey's example of how she created her organization was to expand and look beyond what was right in front of her. She had vision. And that is what Dr. Tisdale used to always tell us about, having a vision to go beyond where you are. And so I draw to that concept. And America Online is another one. I'm going to use that also in my talk. You remember when we used to get that little disc? It was in the library. It was in the store. Well, the idea was everybody thought somebody was getting something for free. So everybody got that disc and they put it in their computer, and it lasted for about 3 months. But it drew you in so that you could go online. First example or first opportunity for many people to get online was through America Online. Once they got hooked, they were in it, and that was it. And so America Online launched the internet technically in terms of people being able to communicate with each other. Yeah. So those kind of ideas in business is to give something in order to get something on the end, on the backside.
Mm-hmm. It's all about vision, because when I think about you, Harvey, and this in your radio station, that's vision. It's all about what you saw that this small town in Orangeburg needed, and you brought that vision forth.
But
and
God was in that. God was in that equation.
Yeah, most definitely. So, Dr. Hill, I'm speaking with you about being the educational ambassador. Kind of take us through your thoughts, and you talked about why you wanted to be a part of this, but take us through the thoughts of an educational ambassador and what that really means.
So when you think about it, my job is to kind of bridge the gap between the particular students and opportunity, bridge the gap between the particular students and leadership, to bridge the gap between the particular student and their dreams. We all have dreams associated with what we love to do. And they always used to say, if you can go to work every day with something that you like, it's not work, right? So how do we start to connect students, young people with their careers? And then if we can do that in a intentional way, not just by happenstance, just walk up on the campus and find it, but by an intentional way, like the Pathway Career Training Center is trying to do, I think that we'll have a better, much more successful group of young people who come out and know exactly what they want to do. So that's kind of the envision of what the ambassador does, is I kind of connect the dots. I'm the middleman, as they say.
You're going to connect the dots on Saturday as well.
That's right.
You're the facilitator. Right. So you're going to bring all of these folks together and really connect those dots for everyone. And we want to remind everyone that we're talking about the leadership and legacy. Legacy and leadership, which will be held this Saturday, February the 12th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And you're seeing the people who are going to be on. I'm talking about phenomenal leaders, because when I think about all of you, you are leaders in our community, and these young people and people alike need to be familiar with leaders and what it takes to be a leader. And that leads me to my next question. What inspired you to start your businesses? And I'll start with you. Miss Ann. What inspired you to start your business?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I thought my AirPods went off. What inspired me really? I had my daughter when I was 40 years old, and I decided that I didn't want to be on a 9-to-5 job, because I didn't want anyone telling me if I needed to take time off that I couldn't. Mm-hmm. So that was my motivation, because I wanted to be there with my daughter. God blessed me at that age to have her, and I wasn't going to let anything stop me. And that was my motivation, because I took some classes when she was just a baby. And, with the support of my husband, I was able to make it happen. And he was very supportive in what I was doing. And like I said, I just wanted the independence. I've always been a hard worker. And the job that I left, I was, pretty good at what I did, but I just wanted that opportunity just to be, well, I'll tell you this. When I went to college and I was living in Los Angeles, I wrote down 10 goals for myself. But when I moved back home, I misplaced them. But when I found my goals, I had met all of them except two. And the two that I didn't accomplish was being a business owner. But after I had my daughter, the motivation came in for me to get it done.
Wow. That is a story.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, and Harvey, the same thing, Mr. Harvey, that I saw you shaking your head.
Yeah, someone told me no, I couldn't do something. And that person became the motivating factor that compelled me to do what I could do, or do what we did. Someone, I can remember one of our local legislative persons here who was supportive of me as a person. But one day, after 2 years after we were in business, he walked into the station. He handed me a check for $7,000, and I hadn't asked for it. He just walked in and gave it to me. And I asked him, I said, well, we didn't apply for these funds. I said, why are you doing this? He said, because I didn't believe you could do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So sometimes the no is the motivation. I went when I left one location doing broadcasting, I went to every station looking to broadcast. Not my own station, but I wanted to be on their station. And everyone said no. No. So it was the no that drove me to, and God's mercy and guidance to allow us to have what we have. So sometimes no is good.
Wow. And Dr. Hill, you also have a business, and what inspired you, as well as being this huge educator that everybody loves on the campus, Dr. Hill.
Well, I'm glad they love me, but like others, there's always inspirations, and you don't know where those inspirations come from. I can truly say that my inspirations come from my parents. They were educators, both of them. My mother was a high school teacher for 37 years. My dad taught mathematics and computer science for 39, 40 years. So one of the things that they've always instilled in me is a value of education. And so that's where my kind of business or consulting comes out of, utilizing my tools, my gift, with the ability to help others, whether it's your business, whether it's you as an individual, or you as a political government or agency as well. So that's kind of where that comes from my standpoint.
Wow. And one of the important things that I heard in this whole message was training. Sometimes people want to go in business, but they aren't trained in that particular field. Give us your thoughts about that. And I'll start with you, Harvey. I see you shaking your head.
Preparation is everything. Looking at the tape of the game that you lost is what enables you to see where your error or mistakes were, or even the things that you did well. So subsequently, what you want to do is you want to have for me at least, you want to be objective and honest with yourself in order for you to get where it is that you want to go. Sometimes you have to encourage yourself with a lie, sometimes. But more importantly for me, I want to say or look at the areas where there's a deficit, and we want to improve those things. I think that that's important, particularly as educators, people who've worked in the school system. We know that we want to encourage our students. So the same thing holds true for us. We want the encouragement, but we also want to be critically critiqued to make sure we get across the finish line with all the strength and energy that is available for us, and not create some false sense of greatness. You
Right.
want to be honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm. And Miss Ann King, I heard you also say that as well. That you decided that you were going to get training, and that was important for you. I know for you at the time. And what do you want to say to somebody who's looking now that wants to go into business that says, I don't know what to do? What would you say to them now?
I would say, just search yourself first to find the inner you, to let yourself know that you can do it, first of all. And then find someone, because I give myself as a resource. We just need to be resources for young people or adults who want to, go into their, have their own business. And I would just, do research online, find a mentor. I had people that I was looking up to in the business that I started initially, and I got training from someone as well.
Mhm.
And what I did during my training, I'm a person that I will, just look. I sit back, I ask questions, but only when I think I'm a little confused.
Mhm.
But I'm a person that really looks at things. And when I look at it, then, that's when I pick it up. That's how my training starts. I know I do realize that everybody doesn't do it that way. But I just feel like you can learn more by just sitting back and observing. If you're a good observer and a good listener, I've always taught my children, because I teach in my church as well. In order for you to be successful, you got to be a very good listener. And training comes with listening and following directions. So I would just, say to anyone, find that person that you feel comfortable with, somebody who wants to share with you, and just, take classes, do as many things as you can to get the training. And, we just have to be open to taking people in and taking them under our wings. And I would just say, just training is important, because if you don't have it, you'll have more stumbling blocks, but it will just lessen that. So just
Exactly.
find a mentor and someone who cares about your passion, even if it's not the same thing that they're doing.
Harvey.
Two things I want to say. You're absolutely right, Mrs. King. It's that drive and determination and making some mistakes. The painting that's behind you is done by a Charlestonian,
Yes.
Jonathan Green.
Just talk to him today.
I stayed in Charleston last week. I stayed at the hotel, one of the hotels there, and 5 of his pictures were in the hotel, in my room, not in the hotel. So if they were in my room, that means they were probably in every room.
Yes.
That is, and that's the spirit. That's seeing where he never said, I'm going to make this painting and just talk about the Gullah Geechee experience and leave it in my studio. He was determined to find a pathway, because so we use the examples of other people, and their greatness can propel us into the direction. So we look for good models, good examples of people who are in leadership. I don't care what they look like or who they are, but when you find a good model, you drive we should drive our students in that direction as well, because then they have footprints that they can replicate or they can follow. So I guess to what you just said about having a good listening ear,
Yes.
and that will help you. And so and I'm going to use me as an example. My mentors, most of them were women, but they were all famous people, and I listened to them. And so I lost my mother at a young age. So these women were able to tell me to shut up and teach me something. And I'm very grateful.
Right. It's important to have someone to pour into you.
Yes.
And Dr. Hill, this goes back to you as far as you talking about training. That's what you do every day. Give the opportunity to young people to learn, to listen, to glean from you, to hear what you have to say. And so, what would you tell the same question? I'm going to say the same question. And I'm pretty sure some of it will intertwine with what we've been talking about. Well, what would you say to some of the young people, or even some more mature people who want to go into business or do something? The power is now. Do it now.
Yeah, and so everybody touched on the key things, right? And so I always tell students that are on campus at HBCUs in particular, this is the only place where you can pitch your idea. You can talk to everybody about your idea, get free consultation about your idea from professors and everybody. You can actually submit it. You can get feedback. You can resubmit it every class for like 3 years, 4 years. You can do that for 4 years to get the training that you need to make sure that you have all your ducks in a row. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of the educational leaders that are there. But one of the things that is important, and I think that a lot of young entrepreneurs need to do, is the value of mentorship. If you want to open your business in this area, and let's say theoretically it is not the only business that's created, have you interned at a company that's similar to that? That's something to get the experience, see how the day-to-day operations, and see how you can utilize your business. So the two big things is utilize the institutions that have supported you, right? That you have, and then the value of mentorship throughout the process helps with making sure that you don't make the same or different mistakes that others have already done. That will save you a little bit of the time and the headache when you're starting your business and stopping. And then also the last thing, come to the training on Saturday. Listen, you got bright minds here who are going to tell you exactly what you need from the standpoint of creating your business and things like that. So that's my advice.
Wow. You all have given some great advice. We've had some wonderful comments from everybody, from great conversations to excellent introductions to, excellent Queen Anne, and Harvey, giving back and paying it forward. That's so important. And I know one of the things that some young people struggle with, as we were talking about mentors, is where do you find these mentors? What do you tell them? Because some young people really are hungry, but they yet still are not able to find what they're looking for. And how do you correlate and pull that together for them?
You have to be persistent. You have to see someone that you admire, and you have to knock on their door regularly to try to get in, to get close to them. Some are a little more difficult than others, but you should shoot for the moon in terms of persons and personalities, right? So, and you can't be afraid. You have your young person, you have to say, I just thank God that He's allowed us to work with so many young people, both from Claflin State, Benedict, and all over, and they come to learn and they want to see hands-on stuff. And so it reminds me of myself. And so then my heart opens up, and then we pour into them to help them to move forward. And the number one thing that I tell them, you don't have to go work for somebody. Own your own business. Be Oprah Winfrey. Be some person that is on that level that wants to really do. And that when we instill that in people, they may not get as far as maybe Oprah Winfrey or Bezos or whomever, but they're going to get further because they have had that encouragement. And That's so right. we look for that.
That's right. And you got, like you said, you've got to be persistent. You got to know what you want, and you got to go and get it. As they say, go get it, right? So you got to go get it.
And you can't be afraid to fail.
That's right.
Failure comes with success.
Right. That's
right. You just have to recognize that, okay, it's not really, we say failure, But I tell every young person, it's just another learning curve.
That's
So
right. That's
it's
exactly
just
right.
another learning curve underneath
That's
your
right.
belt. So if you fall a
That's
little
right.
short, it's
It's good.
okay. Just, just
Yes.
think about it, dot your I's, cross your T's, pick up, come back and do it again. Because
That's right.
Yes.
I've done it. So,
Yes.
and if I can do it, they can do it. So,
That's
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Donnie McClurkin's song, "We fall down, you fall,
That's
we
right.
get back up." We
yes,
got
That's
to
we
get
do.
right.
right on back up and just
That's
keep
right.
doing it over and
That's
over
right.
and over.
That's
And
right.
it takes years. Some people think that they see you doing something just like you, Harvey, with the radio station, and with you and Miss Ann with the A King Enterprise, and Dr. Hill with you at Claflin University. It's not what you see so much of the glitz and the glam. Like you say, you see the glory, but you don't know my story.
Mhm.
And sometimes, like I was telling some young people, it takes a while. This took a while. It
Sure.
takes a while. I've been
Yes.
doing this for years, but it
Yes.
takes a while to get to that point. And I think
Yes.
sometimes we have some people that just, and that's older people as well, more mature people, that just say, you know what, it's going to take a long time. I can't do it. And give
Right.
up on their dreams.
Right.
So I want to ask you all one thing about what's next for you, and this is kind of personal. I just want to ask the question, Dr. Hill. I'm gonna start with you. What's next?
Oh, well, I can tell you this. Along my career path, right, is continued to inspire the next generation of leaders. So I see myself continuing in this role and moving as well as I can up the leadership ladder to try to increase and help as many people as I can. But more importantly, my commitment is to those who are coming to HBCU. So that's where I revel in. That's where my vocation is in. So I see myself doing this for. Wait a minute. When am I going to retire? I need to get to retirement. So in the next couple of years, if they say.
Yeah. And Miss Ann.
My next move is similar as well. My goal is to educate individuals, young and old, to be independent and not have to worry about where your next dollar is going to come from. And it's, with proper preparation and proper information, you can do that. And, when I started part of my career, and I saw so many people who were hurting, and I would go home, every night and just think about what can I do? What can I do? And again, thanks to Cassandra, I get to move a little faster on that part. And I'm just excited, about, telling people, look, you don't have to be where you are. You don't have to live in poverty. You don't have to be wealthy to have peace and to have a good life. It's simple. And if we just put this, just some little simple things in place, I'm looking forward to retire. And when I retire, like the old people just say, I don't want to even work on a pie factory. And it's not that I'm not, saying I'm going to be striking it rich,
Right.
but I'm just sharing with people what you can put in place so that you can live comfortable and you don't have to work until you're 70 or 80 years old and don't have time to enjoy what you've already worked for.
That's
So,
right.
moving forward, I'm just want to expand and, you can buy that car because you got the good credit. You can get that house and, not having to be told no,
That's right. That's
no.
right.
No,
Wow.
it's not an option in some things. And to have a good, clean life, just start
Yeah.
off right, just wherever you are.
That's right. That's right. And Mr. Harvey, what's next?
Um. Two things, I guess. There's no television station in Orangeburg. Okay. Someone needs to create a television space, a real television station in Orangeburg that does broadcasting of both movies, news, and content. Spectrum across the country, wherever they're located, they have news channels. Okay. Orangeburg doesn't have one, and we need one. So You and I have talked about this, Tammy, and some others have talked about it. So the goal for me is to see that come into fruition. As far as the radio station is concerned, I would like to advance it to Claflin or some other institution that would enable it to grow beyond where I am, because that's what the future is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be beyond where you are. The one thing that one of my criticisms about HBCUs across the country and of colleges, period, the students that we graduate are not doing business with the college. I'll explain what I mean. We have a lawn service that cuts the grass at Claflin, but it's not owned by a Claflin graduate. So we're teaching people to go out and work for someone else. And I think the goal should be that some are going to do that, but some should learn how to work for themselves on their own businesses and come back and even if you're just trading with the college, the paper, the pens, the notebooks, the computer, whatever it is that Claflin has to buy, Claflin graduate students should be a part of that commerce and trade in business. All our HBCUs across the country. So, not to say that the HBCUs are not teaching that, but somebody needs to make that an emphasis. Why aren't more of our student graduates doing business with us of all the things that we have to purchase? I think that's a worthy goal.
All right. Well, I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we are down to the wire because our next guests are coming on. But I always ask this one thing, and you got like 30 seconds. 3 words to describe you. Dr. Hill, I'm gonna start with you.
Inspirational. I'm gonna say that I am what is that called? Opportunist, and I'm gonna say I like to laugh. Those are the 3 things.
All right, Miss Ann.
Caring, wise, and peaceful.
All right, and Mr. Harvey.
Persistence, drive, and unabashed and unafraid.
Unabashed and unafraid. Well, listen, lady and gentlemen, I am so appreciative of you being on the show today. I enjoyed spending time with you today, and we got to get people out. Legacy and leadership coming up. Dr. Hill, you want to go ahead and give us the commercial?
Well, this is the way it goes. As always, please come out Saturday, February 12th from 10 to 2. The Building Legacy and Leadership Conference that's going to be in the Orangeburg Conference Center. Please come out. It's going to be dynamic. Unbelievable.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I want to thank you all so much and be blessed on your travels up here as you come to Orangeburg, South Carolina. Thank you again, Dr. Hill, Miss Ann, and Mr. Harvey. You all have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow. When I tell you, we have had a great show. Bye, Miss Ann. We've had a great show, and it's even getting better, and we're just getting close to the end. They are just dynamic. That's leadership, legacy and leadership. Oh, thank you, Mr. Young. All right. Thank you, sir. And thank you all for our viewers, all of our viewers in your comments, Eddie, James, Miss Darlene, Sharif, Mimi, Cassandra. And we did not forget you, Cassandra, because we talked about you the whole time. And Vanya, we are so appreciative of you for having this type of legacy and leadership come to Orangeburg, South Carolina at the Orangeburg County Conference Center. Thank you again. Listen, we've got 2 special guests. I'm talking about a married couple that loves each other. And when they talk and they say, honey, and she says, well, baby, you know, so-and-so. So I wanted to bring a little love because this is Love Month. And so I wanted to bring a little love into it. So they're going to come back after the commercial. We'll be right back. The Curry Insurance Agency has served the community for over 30 years with hundreds of trained representatives to assist you in selecting health plans. Curry Insurance Agency is the largest marketing insurance group in the state of South Carolina for Medicare Advantage and represents all major health carriers. Curry's motto is people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Call the Curry Agency today at 803-536-0889. Welcome back to the show. Well, I told you we've got a great show continuing. When I say we had a wonderful show in the beginning, great conversations. Again, I want to thank everybody for tuning into the show. Remember, hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel, the Tammy TV Show. All right. When I tell you, I was so excited when I heard this podcast. It is The Way I Love You. I think I'm saying it right. They are a beautiful couple. Just heard the podcast, reached out to them and said, hey, I'd love you to come on the show, talk about love. So come on out, Sharona and Will Music McFadden.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hi, Tammy.
What's up, Tammy?
What's happening?
I think my shirt is.
Girl, you look fabulous. You look fabulous.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being on the show. Listen, we don't have a whole lot of time because I know you all just finished your podcast. So
Yeah.
I just want to thank you again for at least being on the show for this time to talk about love. Let's talk about the McFaddens, because when I hear you, Sharona, you says yes, and the voice is so sultry. And, and the topics that you talk about are really just about love. Let's talk about key components to a strong marriage. What makes your marriage strong?
Well, we have 3 key components that we tell everyone. It's just marriage is like, it's still marketing, right? So you want to believe in the product. You want to believe in your marriage.
Absolutely.
Believe in it from the beginning. Go into the marriage with expectations is this is going to work. I believe in this. We're not just doing this just so I can wear the white dress and
Right.
we can just go we can have this luxurious reception. We're believing in the product of the marriage. We're believing in us. So we tell
Yes.
people believe in the marriage.
Have a strong foundation and an understanding of what the institution of marriage really means, not only to one another, but what God defines marriage as being.
Right. And then the second thing we tell people is the vision. We talk about, if you watch the podcast, the Way That I Love You podcast, we talk about having a vision or a mission statement.
Mhm.
What's your mission statement? It's the same as a business. You have a business, you have a mission statement, something that you stand on. You have to have a foundation in your marriage. Our foundation is Christ. We stand on the biblical principles of the church, but we also have within our marriage, we have a mission statement that say this is what we expect from one another. This is where we're going. These are our goals, our marriage goals.
And there's no option to throw in the towel or use the D word.
Yeah. And then secure communication, right? You want to have communication.
Oh yeah, gotta have that.
You gotta have that. So, and we know that we don't always get communication right. As
Right.
you grow and the more mature you get in your relationship, the better you are in communication. And I tell individuals all the time, we've been married for 23 years. So we got married, I was 22 or 23, somewhere.
I was 22.
22. So we got married pretty young, right?
Yeah.
And so our communication is not what it is today. And so I tell young marriages, don't think that you're going to get this person that's going to connect with you right away.
Right.
It takes time. But remember, you believe in the marriage. You believed in the product,
And
right?
even when you get seasoned in your marriage, there's still some communication cues that can become off. But as long as you have a foundation to know, all right, babe, we need to just pause for a second and really talk this through and communicate our emotions or feelings and work through this and be better for us, for one another.
Right.
Wow. Well, listen, I want you all, we don't have a whole lot of time, so that means you're going to have to come back. But I want you to talk about Black love, that the Black love, that historical look at Black love. Talk about that.
Yes, you want to start off, babe?
Well, for us, Black love is like, I look at my king.
Look, that's what y'all do on the podcast.
We like this. If anyone know us, we are on all the time. This is us. So I look at my king. He's a strong Black man. He means the world to me. And Black love for us don't just resemble just us. It lets us know to say that this is the legacy we want to leave our children.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we want them to mimic. And don't get it wrong. We want them find love wherever you find love, even if it's not in a Black man or a Black woman. However, you know who you are. So you absorbs the what Black love is, right? Mm-hmm. So he's a Black king, I'm a Black queen. So our children are Black kings and queens. And so as they grow, they're going to resemble what strength of Black love, the purity of it, the communication, the power of it.
The absolute power that's in Black love.
What they say we couldn't do, like, because we couldn't be affectionate to one another. And we kind of remember that. There was a time that someone else would have had my man. You know, if let it be told. And I would have been someone else's if it was suiting for someone else. So we say that's the strength of it all. We get to choose who we want to be.
That's right. Well, I want to talk about the podcast because I want to talk about the song, The Way That I Love You. Yes. When did that, okay, so Will Music.
Yes.
I know this is your thing. The song, because you play all these different songs during the podcast, you know, and it just resonates with what you all are doing. Talk about that what inspired that, your podcast.
Well, what inspired the actual podcast is my wife's story, believe it or not. But in that song is actually her singing that she wrote and sings. I'm in the background. I did the production and the music for it, but that's her. That's my baby.
Wow, Sharona.
Yeah, I wrote the song. I sang the song. And at the time, if anyone know my story, I have a disease called FMD. It's fibromuscular dysplasia. And my arteries, it's an artery disease. And at the time, I didn't know I was sick. And Will and I, we do music. This is what we do. That's what connects us to one another. At the time, I wrote this song, and I didn't know at that moment that 3-4 years later that I would have a brain aneurysm and a stroke. And so after all of that, I mean, he stood by my side, and the song was already written. But God, he let the song lay until such a time as this. So after we got through the aneurysm, and you know, I was almost 30 days in the ICU. And, he's my strength, right? He's my rock. And so during the pandemic, I said, babe, let's do a podcast. And we were like, what are we gonna call it? And the song was playing, and he was like,
instantaneous. We both looked at each other like, it's the way that I love you podcast.
Oh, wow. You're going to make me cry. That is a beautiful story.
So the song has a whole meaning behind it because the way that I love you is unconditional. Right. It has no end. And we all have that in our relationship. We all have that one thing that draws us to one another.
And we could definitely tap into it. There's practical ways to tap into that. And we kind of discuss it and give like a real-time journey. We always say that. And I always say it's a real-time journey of our marriage. Like if we had a bad week, you're going to hear it on the podcast. You know what I mean? And you're going to see how we work through it and deal with it.
Yeah. Because it's not always good. We all know that.
Right, exactly.
And it's always our marriage, you know.
Exactly. I mean? Wow. So Sharona, when you're on the podcast, you have a way of talking that draws you in. And I'm just wondering, girl, you need to be doing this national radio, you know, I mean, podcasts, you're going all over the world, but the way you talk and the way you all present your podcast. One of the things I want to tell viewers is that you give information, you do research, and I love that. And I enjoy listening to the podcast. I'm not, you know, I'm divorced, but I enjoy listening to the podcast anyway, because you learn something every day. So how is it that you all start working on your other songs? How do you do that, Sharona?
So just so everyone know, I love you, Tammy. My name is pronounced Sharona.
Sharona, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's growing up, everyone says Sharona. So I'm so used to it that sometimes I kind of like let it, but I know your heart. So I know your heart. So that makes it all the better. But just so the viewers would know how to pronounce my name, I put it out there. How we come up with the other songs. Will is a genius. Let me just say this. He is an absolute 100% a humble genius. He comes up with the songs and everything that goes in the background. And if anyone ever watched what is that with Cookie Lion and and Empire. We are the Cookie Lion
we're Cookie and Lucius.
So I put on the headphones. I'm like, nope, not that song. Nope, rewind it, add this, drop that beat, take it a little higher.
And I'm like, all right, leave the room so I can go in. And I'll come back and I'll be like, Gabe, check this out. And this is like,
wow,
yeah. So he kind of like gets all of that going because he's just amazing in what he does, and we complement each other in our marriage within our relationship of creativity. So and when it comes down to the voice, I don't know, we just kind of we talk to each other that way.
Yeah,
we just kind of talk to each other that way. We're very flirtatious.
In front of our children,
they can't take it,
so they can see what.
But that shows them the love, because a lot of kids don't get to see that, and so they get to see you all love on each other. So when they get older, they'll be like, "Oh, that's what they used to do all the time. So I'm gonna do that too."
Yeah. Actually, Tammy, our 14-year-old came down. Well, she'll be 15 in a couple days. She says, "Can I have a Valentine's Day? A Valentine's? I think I'm ready." And we said, well, you can like someone and they can practically buy you a gift if you want to exchange, but that's where it's going to go until you're 16. She says, but I don't think it's fair because I get to watch you and daddy all the time. And how do you think I feel if I have to watch you and daddy all the time, just be so loving towards each other, and I can't have a Valentine? I can't, go beyond that. I'm like, well, you're just gonna have to wait till you get
hello. Well, listen, want to ask you all, because we're running out of time, but what are you all doing for Valentine's? Or do you celebrate Valentine's, or is that every day all year?
Well, all the above.
Okay.
And this particular Valentine's, we're going to be going away to the Poconos to indulge in a Sweethearts Ball.
Yes.
Where we also are slotted to do a piece for our podcast so we can add to the segment.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lot of fun.
That I can't wait to see it. I know it's going to be great. So, before we leave, tell everybody about the podcast and when it comes on, please.
Yes. You want me to take care of that?
Sharona.
Go ahead, baby. You say you do it. You got it.
All right.
This is you gotta say the whole thing. This is a sexy, hot, loving rap.
So this is Will Music. We are a hot, sexy marriage podcast, and we come on every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can check us out on all social media platforms, on wherever you get your podcasts, and also
on YouTube.
YouTube.
You can watch us on YouTube.
Yes, you can watch.
You can watch the podcast on YouTube as well. But we got a thing with Alexa. You can tell your Alexa, play the Way That I Love You podcast, and she'll play. We got to talk down low because she's a little nosy. She a little nosy, but she only listens to him. I said, Alexa, what my man? She don't listen to me. When I call her, she be like, I don't understand that question.
Oh wow!
My wife talked about the YouTube page. Far as her story go, we did do a visual, like a 5-minute visual of it's called The Way That I Love You podcast, True Story, and it talks about the episode when she had the brain aneurysm and the stroke, if they want to find out.
Yes, but before we go, Tammy, I'd like to have everyone to go to our website, which is www.thewaythatIloveyou.live, and they can actually just get engaged into the whole podcast itself.
Okay. And so Sharon, Sharana, I was getting ready to say Sharana, but Tiana, can you please show that? Yes, there we go. And that's your website. And then of
Yes.
course all of your handles where people can see you. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Y'all got it going on. YouTube. I tell you what.
And we're global. 8 months and global.
That's
Yes.
right, global. I'm so blessed that you were able to join me on the show tonight, even after you did the podcast. I really thank you so much. And so I'm going to ask you all the 3 words that describe you. You can do it as a couple or separately. It's up to you.
I'll go for myself.
Okay, Sharana.
Ready, willing, and able.
Oh, willing,
Ready,
willing, and
willing,
able.
and able.
All right. Okay. And Mr. Will, music.
Oh, wow. I would say inspirational, optimistic, and purposed.
Purposed.
I
Okay.
like that.
All right. All right. Well, listen, the Way I Love You podcast with Sharana and Will Music. I said it right, Sharana?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you all so much. Listen, you all be blessed and have a wonderful Valentine's.
Yes.
Oh,
And
thank
Tammy,
you.
you are super beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You all are a beautiful couple as well. And I just want to thank you so much, because I know what it's like when you're hosting and putting all this stuff together. And sometimes you really don't have time. And so I just want to thank you again for your time. And I'm going to be tuning in now.
Thank
right.
you. Thank you for your support. And for everyone, thank you all for tuning in to the Tammy Show. We enjoyed being here today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a good night. Take
You
care.
too.
Happy Valentine's.
Happy
Thank you. Happy
Valentine's.
Bye.
See you.
All right, we've had a great show. I don't know about you, but I've enjoyed the show tremendously. I mean, just to listen to all of the people that we've had on today, Pathway Career Training Center with Legacy and Leadership with Harvey Elwood and King, Dr. Nicholas Hill, Cassandra was in the background, Cassandra Boswell, co-founder, and Vanya, co-founder. Wow. When I tell you, great show. And then to hear Miss Sharana and Will Music about love. I hope you are going to love on somebody this week and just have a wonderful time. And just as I said, life is too short. We've got to keep it going. You've got to keep doing what you can do and do it now. So next week, we're going to continue with the celebration of Black History Month. Of course, Poetic Angel is going to be with us. And then we're going to have guest Professor Damon Fordham. And then from the Gullah Nation, we're going to have Mr. Roger Gass and Chief Fode. And he is in Africa, Sierra Leone. And so we're going to hear from him. So I want to thank the producers. I tell you, these assistant producers are knocking it out. That's Tiana and Willie. All right. And then, of course, Alicia. Please subscribe to the Tammy TV Show YouTube channel. Just hit that subscribe button. All right. I would appreciate it so much. Let us be a blessing to someone today and every day. I want you to all to have a safe and wonderful week. Remember, wear your mask, social distance, and wash your hands. Until the next time, thank you folks for joining us and take care of yourself. Until the next time I see you, take care. Bye-bye.